Hello everybody, I just wanted to show you a little bit about sampling on the Korg DSS-1. This particular keyboard's a little weird, so it takes a while to get used to. I'm hopefully going to be able to get this all in one video for you, the entire process of sampling. So basically I just roughly turned on my DSS and I hit sample mode. I'm going to hit sample and I want to choose the time that I want to sample. Now of course there's different frequencies that you can sample at: 48, 32, 24, or 16. I'll just do 32. And you can choose, let me go back as well, you can choose 4 or 8 seconds as the total amount of time that you kind of want to use. This next screen shows you the amount of the memory is divided into right here. Mem divide shows you how many basically how many different sounds you're going to have in your entire multi-sound. So I'll set that to 4, that's fine. If you wanted to sample 16 different sounds, then of course you'd want to set that up to 16 by using the data entry A, or down to 1 if you want one 4-second long sample. 4 should be fine, that means each one's about a second. And the sample number is telling me which sample of the 4 I'm actually recording. So that seems good. Auto set, I usually leave that yes, that's fine for now. There's a few different options you have. You can get back to that screen that we were just on by pressing 1. You can go to number 2, which allows you to attenuate or add gain to the input of whatever you're sampling. Number 3 is the auto trigger level, which I like to usually set around 2 or 3. Basically it means that when there's no sound going into the DSS, it's not instantly sampling. It waits for something to get beyond a certain threshold of whatever 3, whatever that actually is. Number 4, you can set your top key and your original key for the sample. So if you sample the note C3 off of a piano, you say, I want it to, C3 is the original, and I want it to stretch up to F3, but no farther than F3, and it will automatically, stretch that sample lower in frequency. So everything below C3 will be filled with the same sample unless there's a sample already down there. So if you had a sample that was from C2 to F2, then this sample basically would be F sharp all the way up, F sharp 2 all the way up to F3. Okay, so here's your screen that I like to use a lot. I can see where my level is. Now, of course, I like to drive it really hard. You can see that that's overdriving, but I think it sounds really much cooler than, oops, sorry about that camera. There's slight overdrive. That's what it is without overdrive. But if you drive it, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I'll hit 0, and it says press enter to sample. It's waiting because it's got the auto trigger on. There we go. Do I want to retry it? No. I'm not going to do a bunch of samples. I'm just going to do the one. Now I already have a formatted disk in the drive here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that sample. I'm still in the sample mode up here on the right. I'm going to hit save sample, number 5. Sample number 1 of the 4 that I recorded, because there's possible 4. I had only recorded 1 of the possible 4 here. We don't need to name it, so yeah, let's save it with that name. Any owners of the Korg DSS will eventually get used to the sound of the tick-tick-ticking of the disk drive. It's okay. It's unfortunate, but alrighty, that one sample is saved. Continue, no. So now we have a sample, in more layman's terms, but on the Korg DSS they call it a sound. I'm going to take that sound and now put it into a multi-sound. So what we do is, since this keyboard basically has nothing in it, I just turned it on, we have no multi-sounds loaded. So I'm going to go to, is that in? I can't remember if that's in there. Let me scooch this over a bit so you can see. Here we go. Here's our multi-sound. click multi-sound, and I'm going to choose Get Sounds. I'm going to pull that one off the disc. Do I want to loop it? No, in this case, no, it's a single hit, but if it was like a sustaining, synthesizing oscillator sound, I might. But in this case, no. So no. It's going to give me a list. I can choose by the data entry. I named it no name, so I'll hit enter. It's going to pull that one in. Do I want to load the entire thing? Yes, I do. Is this the right one? Are you sure? Yes. It asks, there's a lot of confirmation on this keyboard. It asks you over and over again, which key would you like to assign it to, and which key would you like to be the top key? I don't know, let's just put the top key. Let's see how high we can go. C4, so it'll stretch an octave. Is that good? Let's see. So there's the original, and it'll go down. Yeah, I'm satisfied. If I wanted to get more sounds off of this disc or another disc or something like that, this would be the chance when I can, but in this instance I don't want to. So there we go. I've created a multi-sound. Now I have not saved this multi-sound. At this point, what I would typically do is grab a second disc, put it in, and that would become my multi-sound disc, which would then, in theory, I could use it as my multi-sound / programs disc. Multi-sounds collect all of the samples into kind of one folder or one file and save it along with the program or patch data. So I would normally grab another disk. I'm not going to this time. I'm just going to save it right on the same disk. So while I'm still in multi-sound, I hit save, multi-sound, rename. Yeah, why don't I rename it just so I don't get confused here. We'll just call it something plus no name. Now this particular multi-sound is the exact same size as the sample itself, but if I had like 16 different samples in it, of course it'd be 16 times as large and take much longer to save. So there you go. I've saved my multi-sound. Now the other catch on this particular instrument is, great, I've got a multi-sound on the disc, but I have not really done anything with that multi-sound. I could use that various places. I want to now pull it into what they call a system. So the last step in this whole process is we go to system mode, and we go to step number 9 here, select number 9. That will get a multi-sound from disk. It lets me choose if this disk was full of hundreds of them. I could pull in many of them, but I just want to pull in the one. I'm going to pull in plus no name. Are you sure? Yeah. This basically pulls it into the memory of the keyboard itself. You can load up to 16 multi-sounds at one time, and then what that allows you to do is when you're editing patches, so I'm in System A, patch number 1, if I want to go and edit that, I can choose my oscillator, and my oscillator choice is plus no name. That's the only one that's loaded in because that's the only one I've loaded into this System A. So when you turn on the keyboard, it defaults to being in System A. So that's what I would do. If I wanted to sample an entire, or bring another multi-sound from another disc in, I could grab that, bring it in as well. So there we go. At that point, then I would save this system, which is back in the system button. Save system is number 2. I hit number 2, save system A, and I could hit yes. And then it would do that. So why not? I'll just save it. So basically all those steps are just to get to the point where you have the ability to then create programs which you can pull up those oscillators, or, you know, quote-unquote oscillators or multi-sounds as your potential sound source or oscillator for the synth. It always asks you, do you want to replace the old one? Unless you've edited something with the multi-sound, I always hit no. Hope this helps. Again, this is Nick from Carillon Audio Blog. If you guys like this, if you're interested in any of my music or any of my blog posts, you know, comment, send me something. If you've got any questions about anything, I'm glad to help. Anyway, keep making good music. Bye.